All right, folks, I have some special guest speakers here for us today. They're on their spring break, and they are both fifth graders from Jonathan Alder Middle School. And we've been talking a little bit in our discussion boards about motivating student writers and readers. And I asked them to just not even hold back, but just tell you folks what they think about their writing and reading classes. So they're going to talk a little bit, and I'm going to ask them a few questions. Here you go. You're on. You can't see you. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Get this other thing out of the way. Okay.
Okay, so this is Kyle, this is Alec. Boys, tell us what you think about writing.
It's okay.
Honestly, you think it's okay. What makes it okay, Alec?
I don't know.
It's
Well,
better
it's
than
better than science.
It's better than science. It's worse than
Math.
Okay, so math is the best?
Yes.
Okay. Why is math the best?
I don't know,
It's
because
easy.
it has letters instead of numbers.
Math
oh no,
has-
I meant numbers instead of letters.
Okay, so numbers are better than
Exactly.
letters. Kyle, what do you think about writing?
I think it could be better.
Okay, what could make it better?
Make it fun. Like, most teachers just like hand you a piece of paper and say write something. You have to
Okay.
give like topics or something like that.
Okay, like any topic, like I could say write about the Barbie dream house and you'd be happy with that?
Oh yeah. Barbie's awesome.
Okay, well, what are awesome topics to write about? Like, what do you wish your teachers would have you write about?
Vacations, past vacations, something that's happened like recently, or what you did over the weekend or something like that. Just what you've done.
Okay, and what do you think, Alec? What do you like to, like, if somebody gave you a topic to write about, if you could choose any topic, what are some topics you think of?
Something totally crazy and unthinkable.
So, like fiction, like something crazy, like you're a superhero, that kind of thing.
Yes, riding on unicorns, something like that.
Writing on unicorns. Okay. What about reading? What do you think about reading?
Boo.
Okay, Kyle, why do you give it a big thumbs down?
Because it's boring.
Okay, it's boring. Is there anything at all that interests you to read, like magazines, any kind of book, any instruction manuals? Like, what do you read? What do you read by choice?
Instruction manuals like sports magazines or
Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, really.
Okay, but not into sports at all. Okay, so Alec, what do you read by choice? Like, what do you like to read? Is there anything at all?
Sports Illustrated.
Okay, and what do you think about reading?
Nope.
No, you try not to think about reading. Okay, what is one thing, if you could, these are all future teachers you're talking to, what is the biggest piece of advice that you could give them about teaching guys your age reading and writing?
Fun.
Make it fun, like a game?
No, like
No, like,
fun. Like, don't make
be
it all boring.
laid back. Don't be all strict and make everybody hate you. I already got that problem with my teacher.
Okay,
So-
so what would you say would what would be something that would be fun to do in reading and writing?
Make it like a game.
Make it
like
a game.
a competition. Stuff like that to make.
Draw a picture with them.
Yeah, like make different. Kind of like make it feel like you're making a movie. Like have a competition to see who can make the best script or something like that.
Ooh, good ideas. Okay, we got it. Hey, thanks, guys. You can go down and play. What is it you're playing right now?
Nothing.
You're
Sleeping.
playing a game.
Nope, we were sleeping.
You were sleeping.
No, we're
I was.
kidding.
I don't know about him.
Okay, probably Call of Duty. Am I guessing? Oh no. Okay, they're not going to tell us. Oh, watching Netflix. That's kind of scary. Okay, so here you have it from the experts of fifth grade reading and writing. I just thought it'd be good to keep it real. We've been talking a lot about the things we want to do and our expectations of students, and obviously, they have a different perspective than we do sometimes. But a lot of you've mentioned it's going to be hard to keep students engaged and how to keep them engaged. And I thought it was interesting at the end how they both mentioned the more creative sides of writing, but that they one of them kind of liked to write about things that really happened, and the other like to write about things that are beyond imagination. And so you have different types of writers. But I thought it was interesting that both of them came down to the gaming aspect of education and that they appreciate a good game. I'm going to include in our reading this week an article that I found in Edutopia about gaming, and it applies a lot to electronic teaching, but I think a lot of the applications could work very well as you teach face-to-face or even as you consider blending your classrooms. So let's go ahead and hop into the syllabus for this week and see what we're doing, and keep in mind our experts as we think about how we're going to teach out and what we're going to teach out. Okay, loading the syllabus. I got only one piece of feedback about VoiceThread. I'm wondering if some of you did not get my in-course, my email. Do check your capital email regularly for messages from me so that I can know how that went for you. I'm not sure what happened there that I didn't get very many feedbacks on VoiceThread, but I was really I'm curious about how that felt for you. Okay, we are scrolling down here a little too fast to March 31st to April 6th. April 6th is my birthday. Okay, we are going to explore a few websites this week. I want to make sure I've got the right week up here. Yep, okay. It's just hard to believe that we're already getting into April. I'm looking at my calendar and going, whoa, how did that happen? Okay, two websites we're going to explore are the Writing Fix website and the NWP website. NWP is a writing website. It's a National Writers website that I thought just had lots of just D&D resources. And I'm going to add the gamification article from Edutopia and as a reading resource, and I'll put all three of those in the external links so that you can locate them in week 12. Okay, so for discussion board this week, here we have the reality of the kids we're teaching, and then we put that against the reality of Common Core. I know Indiana just voted it away this week, but for right now, Ohio has Common Core, and chances are you're going to have some sort of curriculum to work with, and Common Core is what we're going to practice with, no matter where you teach, right? So it says writing for Common Core will likely be assessed online and will tie in with reading materials. So how are you going to prepare students for this testing situation? And most of the Common Core that I'm the most familiar with, honestly, is in 9th through 12th. So pull out your Common Core standards. I love the app, but look at, I know that all of the standards are really talking about support and evidence, and there is a lot of connection between reading and writing. We're not treating those completely separately, and yet I personally in my own teaching have found that teaching them in somewhat of isolation is important so that we don't breeze over the details, So lots of things to think about here. I personally think having a separate reading and writing workshop is good, but writing isn't exclusively just all writing. It involves reading, and reading isn't exclusively all just reading. It involves writing. Does that make sense? Like the read like a writer, write like a reader. Keep coming back to that. So how are you going to prepare students for this testing situation? If we're talking about assessing the way that we teaching and this consistency so that the assessment practice fits the teaching practice, we really will need to teach students to take tests online if this test is truly going to go online, okay? So how can you, incorporate even some simple keyboarding activities and word processing? Are you going to have to probably teach that out to some students? How can we make sure that there's not a gap for students who don't have access to electronics at home? And what is your school's policy on using electronics in your classroom? Things to think about here, as well as just the idea of what specifically characterizes the Common Core standards for the ages that you're going to be creating assignments for, and how can you make sure that the assessment practices can be met by the way you prepare students in your classroom. Go on a brainstorm here. I'm not looking for a certain response here. Discussion board's wide open this week. You may need to let us know what standards you're looking at specifically so that we can follow your train of thought for discussion board. For the blog this week, we're going to look at these web materials, and what I want you to find, again, this is scavenger hunt, 3 ideas or links or resources you discovered and you want to add to your favorites, and why. So find three links to follow, 3 videos, 3 resources, and tell us why they would be favorites for you. If you want to tell us how you might use them, you can. Obviously, all of the blog is supposed to be feeding into your wiki. Okay, I don't know if you noticed there's a pattern there. That was trying to be intentional on my part, trying to assess the way you teach, that kind of thing. Make sure you're consistent all the way through, teacher, and I try to teach myself that as well. So we're finding favorites, kind of review, maybe doing product reviews if there's a product that they talk about that you want to share out. Let's stick with the ideas from links, but obviously if you want to go above 3, if there's something you want to share out that you haven't had a chance to share out that you've discovered in your student teaching or in just your own research, feel free to share those things out beyond those 3. Okay, for the wiki, we've been building into this, and it is due this week. You're using the 4 tasks you've already created. You're going to review the Common Core standards, make sure you're really breaking those down. And what are you going to try to master? You're creating 4 mini lessons now in PowerPoint or some other teaching out format. You don't have to use PowerPoint. In fact, PowerPoint is getting a little bit dated. I think it's still effective, but it may not be the most effective thing for you. You might just have like a little sketched in lesson plan. I'm funny about prescribing a lesson plan because I know you've been have probably had those shoved down your throat at this point, but they are there for a reason, right? Make the plan work for you, though. Choose a format that you like that works for you. And maybe you're just going to kind of break down, maybe there's not going to be a PowerPoint, but maybe there's going to be a structure. Like you're going to have students in stations, and at one station they're going to do this, and one station they're going to do this, and here's the materials they're going to need for these stations. Or maybe you're going to have a video that you use sort of as a hook to get kids interested, and you're going to share that out, and they're going to do some sort of activity, whatever it might be. Some of this you've already laid the groundwork for. Don't think this has to be completely new. This wiki is a building on thing. So take an idea that you've already formatted and formulated and start making it happen in a structured way in your wiki so that later on you can literally open up the wiki and say, I've got a plan for a unit already done. Okay, that's our ultimate goal. And we are heading into, just to kind of know that this is going to be the last week of the actual teaching content types of things. And I obviously want you to think about engagement as you power up your work in your wiki, and that's why I brought the kids up today. But starting next week, we're going to start into a different focus, and it's going to be on classroom management and workload management. I think those two come hand in hand. How are you going to structure your classes? How are you going to maintain sanity in the midst of the paper whirlwind you're creating by keeping students on task? So, the problem with engaged students is that means it's a lot more grading, right? But it's a good problem to have. So these are all things I want you to consider and think about. If you have questions for me, please fire those away. I want to make sure I'm always very clear with you, and I appreciate your thoughts and discussions and discussion boards and blogs. Those have been really enlightening. Do make sure you're doing the reply on both discussion board and blogs. You should be replying to 2 peers for both of those items. If that's kind of fallen by the wayside, please reamp that up this week, okay? Have a great one, and we're looking at April already. Maybe we'll get some warm weather. One can always hope. Talk to you later.